Hello and welcome you to my video classes on integrated water resource management. It is a part of water resource management subject and myself Vishwanath Avati, assistant professor in the Department of Civil Engineering, Jain College of Engineering, Belagavi. So now in the today's discussion, mainly we are discussing about principles of integrated water resource management, and in this we are discussing about Dublin principles or Dublin statement. Now we'll start, and actually general principles are there, that those general principles we already discussed in first video, right? So actually we discussed under the topic of concept of integrated water resource management, but today lecture it is only focusing on Dublin statement or Dublin principles. So but it is also called as a Dublin Rio principles. Why it is called as a Dublin Rio principles? Because of it has some background. So we'll see the background why it is called as a Duo principles. Actually, Dublin and Rio, both are the places where actually some conference and some discussions, a global participation were called, right? So first one is there was a conference in Dublin, right? On actually that conference on International Conference on Water and Environment (ICWE) that was held from 31st January to 26th January to 31st January 1992. Because of that conference held in Dublin, it is called as Dublin Statements or Dublin Principles. But sometimes even it is also called as Dublin Rio Principles. Why? Because those Dublin statements and principles has submitted to UNCED, right? Is the organization UNCED. It is what in Rio. So due to submission of Dublin statements in Rio, it is called as Dublin Rio Principles. So and mainly four principles are there. Mainly four principles are there. Now we will discuss one by one. So first principle is mainly focusing on fresh water, right? Condition of fresh water and why we have to give more importance to the fresh water, right? So here fresh water is a finite and vulnerable resource essential to sustainable life and development and environment. So fresh water is there, right? You can see in the first image, right? Total water availability on the globe, right? So total is 100%. Out of 100%, almost 97 to 97.5% is salt water, right? It is covered by salt water. It is not useful. So then remaining 2.5% is the fresh water. Out of 2.5% of fresh water, if you take it is 100%, almost 69 to 70% is under the ice, or it is covered by ice in the Himalayas or some of the north pole and south pole of the earth, and remaining 29 to 30%, right, it is stored as a groundwater, right? So then remaining is how much? Less than 0.1% or very less is available as surface water in a river, lake and streams. It, for example, if I take one bucket of water as a global water resource, out of one bucket of total, if I consider one bucket as a total global water, then if you take 1 teaspoon of water from the bucket, that is called as fresh water. Means it is very limited resource. Means we have to understand that fresh water is very limited resource, and it is getting threatened by natural disasters as well as human activities. Even though it is a very less amount, but it is getting polluted by human activities like developmental activities as well as some of the cyclone and volcanic eruptions activities. That's what. And even though it is just a very this kind of activities, but they're giving focus on it is very essential to our life. Not only for our life, it is also essential for environment and developmental activities, right? I think you understood. We'll see for second principle. In second principle, water development and management should be based on participatory approach involving users, planners, policymakers at all levels, right? By the principle, if you consider each and every word of the second principle, you can understand very easily. So here focus is what? If you want to make successful implementation of integrated water resource management, then that has to be participatory approach of planner, users, policymakers. First we have to understand who are the users means, for example, farmers or domestic users, right? So who actually need a water. So then he is getting through some facilities or through some structures. That structure has to be planned like a expert or professional involvement professionals like designers, planners, resource management people, and even policymakers, because policymakers will take main role like elected representatives of the nation, right? They are making some rules and regulation in the parliament, right? So even they has to involve, not only involvement, involvement has to be there from starting of the work to end of the work, starting of the work to end of the work. Participation means what? They has to take some represent like no responsibilities to complete the work. It may be different responsibility will be there, like getting permissions, collecting resources, executing the work. All the representative will be there, like that has to be taken responsibilities. And even government has to create an environment that it has to allow the participation of the people. Mainly the government has to create an environment that even marginalized or very lower condition or very like no below poverty line people also can participate. And even it has to create a platform that even easily women can come and she can participate in the activities, right? So here involvement will be there from all the stakeholders, right? All the stakeholders, I'll repeat, all the stakeholders means what? User, planner, and policymakers. We'll see the third principle. In third principle, women play a central part in a provision, management, safeguarding of water. So it is very simple and short principle. Here they given an importance to women for safeguarding as well as management. Why? Because if we take this just example of our house, right? Majority of the women, she know how water is required, how much water is required, and where water is required, right? And she know how much water has to be used. See, now she can give a good solutions where exactly required and how much is required, and how we can reduce with the optimum use of water, correct? That's what she will make central role in a management, right? Because she know how to use it. But she has a more knowledge, but she has a less like no ability to participate. She has a less ability and she is less ability to give her suggestions, analysis. Means we are not given more importance to women, right? So that's what women participation has to be considered. And we have to maintain the gender equality. If you giving more importance to gender like no gender equality, definitely that improvement will be take and sound development will be there, right? So then even when woman is taking equal right, then she can take a decision which are affecting to their life also. That's what we have to give a gender equality. And she know how to use and where to use and how much you can reduce. And even she has to take on considerations of her opinion. Why we have to take her opinion? Because the requirement of the woman and requirement of the men is different, right? So where she can give her suggestions where exactly she required the water. Now, last principle, water has an economic value in all its competing users and should be recognized as an economic good, taking into account of affordability and equity criteria. So here the principle is mainly focusing on water is not a free. Water has some economic value. So we have to consider it is a like a petrol, like how we are considering, like no, it is considering as one of the good and we are purchasing with the liters. So here also we have to use water as one of the resource. It has some economic value, it is not a free, and we have to make charge of it. So why you have to make charge of it? Because when you are paying some amount to purchase the water, definitely will take care of that quantity and will use how much you required essentially. We neglect and will like no save that petrol. Like no, for example, vehicle we are using petrol, right? Whenever it is necessary, then only we are using. We are avoiding unnecessary activities, right? Why? Because it is not free. It has some economic value. I'll end with this video with a small proverb. A drop of water is worth more than a snack of gold to a thirsty person. For example, person is there in front of him, right? One, like, no, 1 ton of gold will be there, or some, like, no, gold is there, and even though he has a full gold, but he is not getting one glass of water. He has, like, no, he has very good resource of gold, but in front of the gold, one glass of water has a more value for the thirsty person. That's what water, we should not neglect the water. Water has some value, and we'll get to know when we have problems, right? When we are not getting good quality of water, then we'll get to know what is the value of water. So that's what we have to give more importance for water, and it is our duty to manage the water in a good condition, or conservation harvesting has to be do. It is our duty, right? So thank you for watching this video.